hear a motion? Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 5 is to consider and or approve any line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
Those are just transfers that I had to make for the purchase of the airport house. We're gonna have to borrow the funds from contingency until we receive the depreciation that was withheld.
Do I hear a motion?
Come in later.
Just FYI, we're closing on the airport house today. All right, do I hear a motion for that line item transfer?
Move to approve the budget amendments and line-item transfers as presented.
Second,
I'll second it.
motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Okay. We are on budget workshop. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Craig, are you here? Craig? Mark, you want to start? Do you have anything on your budget?
Do we have any?
It's up here. I mean, you got it in the email. Yeah, we should send an email out Thursday
Yes.
or Friday.
Wednesday night.
It was the proposed budget at present.
Okay, so no other changes on that?
I sent it out to all of the department heads. I don't
No.
think that I added it on to Civic Plus. Sorry.
No, it's not. What's the recommended budget that you sent?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sorry, Mark.
437. Is this Mark's? Okay, great.
I'm not sure exactly what you guys have, but from what I have, mine is all kept the same except for you can see. So down under computer maintenance, we've increased that $1,000. I'm taking 800 of that out from other areas, trying to make room for it. That area is coming from primarily now what that computer maintenance is a tech share. Plus any other software things that we have throughout the year that we may or may not have to purchase. But TechShare let us know this year that we are now having to pay for storage fees. We've never paid storage fees ever. We're guessing on what those storage fees are gonna be. They've told us anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a year. And that's gonna be split between Craig Jones and I.
Okay.
We've already, TechShare has done things and Craig and I have also done things that's gonna lower that cost. So we just really don't know what that's gonna be until that. So we've asked to increase that by 1,000, but I've been able to take 800 of that from other areas. And so my total budget increase is $200, which is, I think, first time I've ever had a budget increase. So.
Well, I just got a message from Craig and he's sick this morning, so he said all of his is pretty straightforward.
That's the only kind of unknown, and we just don't have a clue. The first numbers that this on this storage was $5,000 or $6,000, and we thought we were going to have to absorb all of that and talking to TechShare. We don't know what's going to be, but it's not.
Okay. Do y'all have any questions for Mark? No, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
guys.
Good, thanks. Judge Ford, do you have anything on your budget? Or Judge Weissel? I know y'all's budget pretty much mirror each other's.
Right, we do, I do have on my bonds, so it looks like y'all have cleared that out for this year, but this is an election year for me, so I should need to have that there.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll need a new bond this year.
Okay, so we need to add that in.
Yes, ma'am.
You think 100 will cover it? Does that usually cover your bond?
It's usually, it's $100 when I get it. I don't know.
You get it for 4 years?
Every, yes,
4 years?
every election period, when you
Right.
get sworn in, you have to have it.
But Amanda, you won't have to get it for 4 years because then you'll have to re-up again.
Correct.
Mhm.
I had to get one and then I have to get one again.
Right,
and then I'll
next
have
time,
to get one
yeah.
again in 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. And it looks like the last time it was $143.
So maybe put 150 in there.
I would think
The year-
that should
One
be,
year
but
was
the one prior to that was 185.
We might just do 200 just to be safe.
So, and I think they did end up saying the 143 was because the way that I was appointed in the middle
Right.
there, it kind of took off some of that. So, you may want to do the 200 just to be safe,
Right, yeah, I'm fine with that.
where that would land.
Right. Anything else?
We did also want to address, and I do apologize that we didn't get it on there for the request portion. But we kind of started talking about it afterwards, just on our autopsy line item. I know it's kind of just formality because, you know, that shall be paid regardless.
Right.
However, with everything, autopsies have increased. And so where they're setting right now, that's allowing us about 7 autopsies a year. And Judge Irwin, as you obviously know, you just never really know where that's gonna
It could be 2 or 17.
Correct. And I looked back for several previous years and it looks like we kind of range on a low year. We have about 25 deaths and then the high one is 50. So pretty much anywhere between there. But if you average that out, 7 is just kind of, that's not a lot, especially on a year that you have multiple that need to be sent. And again, I know that it's kind of just a formality, but that just kind of keeps it from, I guess you would say like permission versus forgiveness.
Right, well, that, and that's an item that we could continue to leave at 30 and pull from contingency. So that's why we have that contingency fund, because we know we have to pay for those things.
Right.
But instead of just like padding everybody's budget on what ifs, we'll just pull it from contingency.
Okay, and on mine, fine.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is that good, Lucia?
Yeah.
Let's pull that. Okay. Hopefully we won't have to do that a lot. but-
Right.
Well,
Yes, go ahead.
worst case, we can transfer it between those 2 autopsy line items, right? Because one's used 16 this year and one used 24.
Yes,
Not to
absolutely.
like punish the department, but to,
To just share that
Balance it out.
expense.
And that's
Yeah.
how we do with court appointed
Right.
attorneys.
okay.
All right, Constable Precinct 1 and 2 and Roman. Yeah, Angelica's grandmother is really sick and she's on her way back. She said she'd try to get here if she can, but she might. Zoom. Are
Here,
you-
Judge.
Okay,
I'm on Zoom.
okay, awesome.
Can I go ahead?
On yours?
The only thing that I could see, is honestly, and probably save y'all some money, is the office supplies. If you look, I've literally never touched my office supplies. So if you wanna allocate that and put it somewhere else, maybe that might be actually used. That would be the only change that I would see,
Okay,
just because I usually just provide my own pins and things like that, and it's not a huge expense that you don't need to have that as a burden. So I mean, honestly, we want to put that in like miscellaneous, I think that would be.
If you're not using it, we can just take it
yeah,
out.
In case something comes up. But like pens and paper and typical office supplies, I've literally never used it. Yeah.
It's only $100, right?
yeah,
I say leave it. Cause it's better not to, it would be better to be in if you're gonna keep the $100,
Right.
to be in a designated miscellaneous is not a great thing. People don't like miscellaneous.
well, I mean, you haven't used anything
Yeah,
in that either,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
So we could move that too.
I say we just leave it. For now. Angelica? Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did you have some information? I passed out this stuff. I put that all together and everyone's got a copy of it.
Okay, perfect. So, on my actual budget, on my line item for my bonds, they said that it's not predicted to increase, so, I just left that at the 150, instead of the 200. I moved that down, on the dues. I did want to increase that to do the lifetime membership since I am going to be reelected in for this next term, 4-year term. I was just going to see if I can go ahead and do the lifetime memberships that way. I mean, it's going to cost about the same for the next 4 years. It'll average about out a little bit more, but it'll average out in case, I do go ahead and run in 4 years, then we'll kind of be good there. And then on the computer support and maintenance, I just broke down what everything was going to cost throughout the year and adjusted that out. I did lower my equipment budget because y'all did increase that last year to help me out with my equipment for my vehicle. So I went ahead and took that out as well. The information that I sent y'all, as far as that's just basically my activity and what I do on a day-to-day basis. The only thing that it doesn't cover in there is, what I do sitting in my office. But those are my calls for service. The pages that are vertical just kind of show what I do and let y'all kind of know on average, I only had 200 and I believe it was 218 papers that I got throughout the year. That was at about the end of this month. But 454 calls for service. Most of that you could tell is civil. It'll show you the nature of the calls there. And then the little bit that I do help out in other places. But that last page, and I'm sorry if it's kind of all over the place. I was having issues with getting that scanned in, but it'll just kind of break down, how many writs, evictions, small claims. OAG is the Office of the Attorney General, which I only accumulate about $66 out of the 100 is what they pay out for that. Tax papers that I've served, regular citations, precepts, subpoenas, and miscellaneous is kind of stuff that I have served that I'm not sure if I get paid for, like for juvenile court and things like that. So I kind of broke down about what I would totally be predicted to have revenue. There's also a sheet there that I did get from Amy that shows what has actually been paid out to or towards my office for the county. And that's about $11,000. But on average, I mean, for what I charge for serving everything, it should be around 21. But of course, y'all know that taxes, unless they pay them, that doesn't get immediately paid to my office. So that's kind of just hanging in the balance. So I did want to approach y'all again about raise for my office for my pay. And I just wanted to let y'all see kind of what I did. So that way y'all can see if it makes sense to give that. There's also a little small sheet that has like the counties and the averages of what the other salaries are in different counties. I kind of hand wrote on the side, that's kind of the population of what those counties are. And also over on the salary supplements, I was going to see about doing certificate pay. I called a few of those counties that had those in their budgets, and on average, they pay about $50 per certificate. As y'all know, I do have a master peace officer license. So that would be about an average of $200 a month if I could do even a salary supplement. So and then I did get a email from Amy, and whenever I asked her about the what the sheriff's office captain is making, and it's about 65. I know the JPs are kind of along that same line, so I wouldn't ask any more than that. But I was just gonna approach y'all again about it, let y'all know what I've been doing and kind of leave it in your hands to see what y'all think about it. So that's really all I have. If y'all have any questions for me.
Have questions for Angelica?
I don't, but do you have your bond? Is it, there's no money that's come out of your line item?
Yeah, right
My
here.
line item?
Romans. No, I was going to Roman because I was looking at both.
Yes, I verified. He does have a bond. Isn't that right, Kelly? Yeah.
Okay. It just doesn't show anything came out of
I
it.
think he got it last year or whenever, so it was only, was it?
On my end, they sent me a
Bond check.
deal to renew my bond on my end. So I don't know what they did with Roman, but I know mine that they did, and I don't know if it's because of our appointment and then, you know, where we got elected in and then now. So I'm not sure. They just send me a bill and I go and get it renewed. So
Any other questions for Angelica?
Only thing that I would like is if we're gonna do lifetime memberships to associations, to be able to put something in policy stating
I agree.
that if, because we've gotten burned in the past by doing a lifetime and then 2 months later they're resigning. So just something in policy that we could put in there. If it doesn't average out to what you would have paid, then you've got to reimburse the county.
I think we can come up with a policy that's probably agreeable to everybody, I would hope. So,
Who will come up with that policy?
well, the policy committee.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Angelica?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. I think the lifetime membership is a good thing, but not necessarily when we pay for it and then you leave office. Which still, you could still be a lifetime member, but probably never participate. Okay, y'all have anything else for Angelica? Things to consider? Okay. I got a, is Judge Mosley here? I got an email from Judge Brancho and he is driving back from vacation, so we might hear from him next budget meeting. If he has any requests. Tammy, you already gave us yours. The postage was the only thing, right? Yeah. Oh, no, I have you for Monday, but yes. Emergency management, Jerry. And y'all bear with Jerry, he can barely talk.
Choking.
Mine's pretty simple this year. I don't have a lot going on other than some basic increases in the Everbridge notification side of things, and then our D4H incident management software. Got a couple of increases in that. We added $500 to the EOC expense for that, and then on the sirens and equipment for our commander application for the activation of the sirens over cell phone and all that. There's a service or our annual Commander One application for that as well. And that's still $3,500 for the sirens and equipment. The tower expenses, we had a earlier in the budget, we had an issue with the air conditioning unit out up at the Sinet Tower, so that kind of took a hit on some earlier funds in the budget, so increased that $1,000 to keep up with some of the maintenance at the towers, and things around the tower as well, so. For overall though, it's an increase of about 5,000 for emergency. And there's a couple of decreases that we had hit in there as well. ESU, their recruitment on the volunteer side of it is not quite up there right now, so they brought that to me about reducing that a little bit, so we brought that down about $800. Supplies, reduced that about $250, just based off of last budget. That's all I got.
And I did adjust the fuel down just a little bit based on other fuel analysis. And kind of since last year, gas prices were a lot higher than what they were currently, and even what they're projected to be according to one of the federal websites. I kind of did a $3.25 a gallon estimate. And so we were able to reduce some of those fuel budgets back down. Since last year, we had gone pretty high.
And,
I don't know anything about that.
and
one.
then I have put in just a little request for the payroll change, for the new emergency management coordinator. So when Jerry gets sworn in as sheriff, then I'll appoint a new emergency management coordinator. So right now, the current salary is 56,912. I want to start the individual out at 51,912. It's just 5,000 less. The fire marshal part of that is 10,000. If the person that I appoint is certified or gets certified, then I'd like to just move that down to 7,000 with the possibility of moving those two line items up in the future. And do a couple of weeks of training. So Amy figured that out for me. 2 weeks total at 80 hours. If we prorate that salary out, it'll be 1,996.80 for the EMC.
Are you, let me just, you're saying getting here early or her early?
So Jerry can train him
Oh,
for a couple weeks
So we're
before Jerry
adding-
moves to the sheriff's.
Right.
That's 2 weeks
Okay.
of those.
Yeah. It's 2 weeks.
Just wants to do it.
I know.
Jerry, get to work, man.
That would be basically. Get 3 months of his salary plus the extra and then the rest.
Right.
Because I think it should just be added into the line item instead of doing it as a part-time salary. like
Right.
I had thought of.
Just make sure we've got the salary line item that covers all that.
Right.
Okay. Y'all any questions for Jerry? No. Okay. And Dwayne?
The only issue that I've struggled with the last couple of years is parts, repair, and supplies. And you can see where I raised that up. Boy, that stuff is repairs, parts and supplies, and went through the roof on price. So I'm really taking a hit there. I know I put in quite a bit for that and y'all lowered it back down. I think it probably needs to be more than 5,000 because the reason why this year's kind of don't reflect an accurate picture is because I've been using stuff that I already had in reserve: filters, mower blades, mower skids, tarp motors, drive shafts, and I haven't replaced that.
So now you're gonna have to.
Yeah, well, eventually I need to. I was waiting until the end of this year to see if I can do that, but I kind of watched that from month to month. And man, this all year, it stayed right on the percentage from month to month this year. It was hard to buy anything extra when I was worried about running out.
I agree, it should be what you asked for. It's very much in line.
So your request is 115, is that correct?
Yeah, I requested 115, which was a pretty good increase, but like I say, this is about the third year I've struggled. Well, this is the second year I've struggled with. Next year will be the third. I mean, I would like to see that much there, but you know, we can get by with less than that if we need to. It's totally up to y'all. But this stuff is just so expensive, and I have to stock a lot of stuff because if you order it, it may be 2 months before you get it.
Right. Anything else?
That's all. All my other stuff looks good.
Are y'all good with moving that parts to 115? Repairs person supplies?
So forgive me for asking, but so we're just kind of spitballing that might be, you might use 20,000 extra?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that according to the way stuff is raised, and like I say, this year, I would have already replaced this stuff. And if I would have done what I usually do, I would be out of money right now. So I'm trying to get it up to where each month that's not just running right on the line.
Well, I reiterate what Judge said is we don't want to just pad a budget just because. And so that's, I mean, if you were to say, I know my mower is going to need this, or I know my tractor is going to need this upcoming year for a fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to restock. I mean, hopefully, according to the way things look now, I'm not going to have the money at the end of the year to restock that stuff. I hope something happens and I do, but you know, I need to get mower blades, need to get tarps, need to get filters. There's all kinds of stuff I keep on the shelf because if that goes down, I don't want to wait 2 months before that piece of equipment's going again. And in this month, this year, that budget had ran tight all year, seemed like this year. So, and 20,000 may be too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, kind of our reasoning for reducing that was because the budget was 95, but the past 3 years we've not hit the 95. And then this, if you take what you've spent so far, divide it by about 9 months, it's gonna end up and multiply that by 12, you know, of course, it's gonna be about 92,000. So I think we bumped it up a little. That was our reasoning behind what the judge and I.
But you haven't purchased anything to
No,
speak.
this year I've not been able to resupply several things that we've used. I've not been able to resupply yet. I mean, some things I gotta buy right now, but I gotta buy them and put them like mower blades. I gotta buy them right now and put them right on the mower.
Right.
I don't have a reserve of blades or skids or anything right now. And you know, if we could just move it to 10, you know, instead, if you're not comfortable with 20, if we could move it to 10, I think that'd put us to where we're not struggling each month to do what we need to do.
I feel more, because you don't know exactly, I would feel better at 10 than just throwing 20,000 just in case.
Yes.
I'd actually feel better at 5, but.
Could you, before we pass the budget, could you get an anticipated list of things you'd like to replace, or that be like the things that you have in mind?
You don't know what's gonna break down.
Well, he knows what he has,
You got
I know what you have in
what's
stock,
gonna
though,
happen
but
between now and then.
like the things that you haven't,
That's
things that,
just routines.
I know, but let me finish my question. The things that you said that you haven't been able to buy that you can plan on wanting to replace next year, not the blades or anything like that. Can you make a projected thing on that alone and just kind of?
Probably can put something together on the stuff that's a wear item, you know, as far as filters, mower blades, you know, I try to keep an extra set or two for every mower we got. There's some stuff like that I can, but as far as like a breakdown,
You wouldn't know.
it could cost from 2,000 to 55,000. I mean, you just don't know if something.
Yeah.
If you have a breakdown, you don't know what that's gonna run. But the common everyday wear items that I do keep in stock and keep on the shelf, you know, I can put something together with what that stuff's running right now.
Well, since what Lisa said, in the last 3 years, you haven't hit 95. To jump it up so fast, I usually when you're looking at budgets, you look at patterns.
Okay.
And so I would be comfortable with 10. just because I just don't want to pad budgets, just in case.
Don't you also have machines coming off warranty?
Yes,
How many?
one,
That'll be coming off this year
uh,
or next year?
yeah, this year and next year, yeah.
And you got to pick up expenses on that as well. There's not warranty no more. So that's an additional expense. If you break down, it's on you.
Possibly.
So
Yeah, this stuff has went through the roof. I've just never seen it. Every time I buy something else, I just tell myself I can't believe it costs that much money, but it does, so.
So is everybody good with 110?
Shaving 5 off.
Yeah,
Instead of raising it 20,000, 10,000?
Oh,
it'd be 105. We
yeah,
raised
105.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know it seems like splitting hairs, but since you haven't spent 90, up to 92 for 3 years,
Yes.
it just doesn't seem like that's making any sense.
I understand. And the only other question I had, Lisa, is I didn't get anything for lateral. Is it still gonna be?
I haven't, yeah, it'll probably be about the same,
Okay.
but I'll let you know, I'm gonna work on all the special revenue stuff this week.
Okay, that sounds
I'll
great.
have it too. I did have a quick question
Okay,
about uniforms.
yes, ma'am.
And at first, it looked like we were getting 11 uniforms cleaned, but I realized that's probably the rental of 11 uniforms per person.
Yes.
Okay.
Did I tell you we had a conversation about that?
No, you didn't.
Oh, sorry.
I talked to the uniform guy. We can work on that some.
Okay,
I don't know, since we're under contract, I don't know how soon we can make an adjustment on that, but we can.
okay.
The reason for the 11 uniforms though is we used to work a 5-day work week. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We worked a 5-day work week, so you had 5 uniforms at the cleaners, 5 uniforms you were coming back or that you were turning in and 1 that you were wearing.
Right.
We can switch that to 9. I don't know. If they're willing, I talked to the uniform man the other day about making that changes that we can. He didn't reflect what the price change might be. Since we're locked into a contract, we can see.
Okay.
But
Thanks for
I am
checking.
working on that.
Yeah, thanks for checking on that.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay, I think those were the only departments we had on the agenda today.
There's one with here? No, oh,
Yeah, no,
this is on here.
right.
Or, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't heard from Judge Leslie. So, and I don't know if he had any significant changes, but probably not.
I don't think so. Everything was pretty much like last year, except we removed a line item that had never been used.
Right. Yeah, but it's pretty much the same, but
And then I just had to increase his non-administrative dues just a little bit.
right,
based on-
we have no control over that.
I did have a question, both on his and Mosley's, where it says special judge. Have we used that in several years, or is that just one of those?
Special judges.
Special judges, yes, mostly uses it.
Yeah, if they have to call in a judge because they have to recuse themselves,
Oh, okay,
and yes, they have used it.
okay.
But I don't think,
not near
it's
that.
never $5,000 worth.
Yeah, they hadn't even hit it 500.
Again, I don't want to nickel dime everything, but when you look at what was spent
Yeah.
versus what we budget, and you look back for the last 3 years, it looks different. Like there's not a lot going out of that one.
And I hope that's not a typo on my part,
Oh,
but I will look into that some more.
all right.
Yeah,
But that is a big difference between the two words.
Hey, you guys got anything else? I sent you the certified values. So you saw those, right? And Carrie should have those numbers for us this week on the no new revenue, voter approval rates, all that good stuff.
And I just have a question regarding salaries and raises. It's come across my listserv about SB 22 employees that get raises from other funds, if they would still continue to get raises from county funds. And we had a webinar last week, and they did state that it's not required for the commissioner's court to give raises to everyone, even if, I mean, it's not gonna be one of those. I'm not requesting either way. I just want to throw this out.
Right.
So that
Think
y'all can
about.
decide what you want to do. But any employee that is getting a raise through SB 22, you're not required to give them a raise for funds as well. Unless you want.
That's interesting. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about.
Do we have, I mean, I know we're adding, do we already have some employees that are getting bumped because of that? As far as raise, not bumped out, but bumped up.
I think
I
that
don't know about bumped up, but there's
there's a proposal.
they're
there
getting
is.
supplement based on their current salary. So they get their current county salary, and then the prosecutor or the sheriff not so much, but the prosecutors, they are able to give them a supplement basically.
And would-
From Senate Bill
do
20.
we know that, we as a court know what they're getting, or is that?
We don't
separate?
really have any control over that, I don't think.
You do, you have a little bit of control. Senate Bill 22 didn't take away the budget responsibility
Right.
of the court. And so, but we can, and I don't know if Mark has any plans for next year's SB 22 funds to increase your supplement anymore. Or would,
At this point, I just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I just have to play that by when it comes.
and so I can give it to you what they are receiving for this current year.
So you guys haven't got your Senate Bill 22 money?
Yes, I'm talking about budgeting for it.
For next
fiscal
year.
year 25.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And so he'll get a
So-
completely new 175,000 for fiscal year 25, right?
I can't hardly hear you, sorry.
I said you'll get an additional, or you'll get 175 again for fiscal year 25,
Yes, and we're not spending
right?
remotely
Anywhere close.
anywhere close to that, yes,
So do you have to
He'll
give
have,
it back
yes,
yes,
if you don't spend it?
with interest.
with interest,
Oh, really?
yes.
It's the silliest.
Yes. We're gonna give you 175,000 right out the gate, and then if you don't use it, you have to give it back.
I sat down to when Judge did the application as well. I sat down the application, I had all my numbers, all my paperwork ready, and I got the third question, and Tilly and I were working at it, and I pushed a button and it said, your application's complete. Like, I didn't put any numbers in. You don't,
All the numbers will be
You don't-
done
yeah.
on the compliance report at the end of the year. They did say that they will be opening, I think, on August the 2nd. Is the new application period,
Right.
and I don't know
Yeah.
about the.
It was,
compliance.
originally it was 10/1 to 10/31, but now they've opened it August to 10/31, I think.
I don't mean to chase a rabbit, but who pays the interest? So that would come out of the county?
Well, county's gonna put it in the
It goes
interest
into an
account.
interest-bearing account.
Oh, okay.
And whatever interest it earns, it
That
can
goes
either use
Yeah.
the same way that the grant can be, or it has to be returned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want that burden on the taxpayers.
It's an all way of doing business.
Yeah.
I mean, we should definitely get a plan to use it. Instead of sending it back.
I can only use it for salaries for 3 positions.
Right.
That's it.
Or to hire additional staff.
Or hire additional staff only in those 3 areas.
Right. Okay,
Not look at that, because I was under the assumption Thursday that you could hire any, like even an extra office clerk.
Now that I don't know.
If it's
We-
an extra.
Well, the only thing that concerns me about that was the whole discussion about the crime victims coordinators. Designated more than one crime victims coordinator.
You can only raise the salaries of those three positions, but then you can use it to hire any additional.
Okay, well, we were given very little information this year. I mean, extremely
Mhm.
scant
And
information.
they're like doing new rules as people are asking questions.
Oh,
Yeah,
So.
So it changed.
it's ever changing. Yeah. Thank you. Lisa, what else we got in the budget?
I think that's all I have right now. I'm gonna be working on revenue whenever I get the worksheet from Carrie. But also in my training, found out that the worksheet, it has a error, so they're gonna be releasing a new one, so Carrie's kind of holding off until we get the updated form.
And can't tell us when that's gonna happen.
Nathan Craddock said hopefully this week they will make an
Well,
announcement.
let's hope.
Something to do with the incremental unused rate or whatever it is.
Okay. I knew there was a lot of discussion on the listserv about.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else on the budget? Lots to think about.
Get these few changes updated. And I'll send y'all a new one for next week. And I'll put it on the.
Okay, yeah, the dashboard. Okay. If there's not anything else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Be here forever, Gary's.
Right, Gary's not here to make the motion.
We're stuck.
Oh,
Step up, Dan.
I'm probably gonna leave anyway.
If we never say,
Motion to adjourn.
walking out.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say